Season 1 delves deeper into the mindset behind the journey, the moment when doubt about international reporting turned into a personal mission to uncover the truth. Everywhere I looked, news stories painted Burkina Faso as a place defined only by chaos, fear, and instability. But I kept wondering, is that really the whole story? The more I questioned, the more I felt that distance creates distortion, and the only way to understand a country honestly is to be present on its soil. When I finally landed in Ouagadougou, the contrast with media narratives was immediate. Instead of a city drowning in fear, I found streets full of movement, motorcycles weaving through traffic, women carrying goods with calm grace, children laughing near small shops, and vendors selling tea on every corner. The reality was not perfect, but it was human, warm, and alive. Talking to locals opened another layer of understanding. Citizens spoke about the challenges they face, political tension, security concerns, inflation, but they also expressed pride, resilience, and unity. Many told me that outsiders judge Burkina Faso without ever meeting the people who live here. They insisted that their identity is not defined by conflict but by community, culture, and hope. Walking through neighborhoods, the sense of collective strength became unmistakable. Every smile, every handshake, every shared story contradicted the image of a country portrayed as hopeless. That gap between perception and reality became the starting point of this investigation, a reminder that sometimes the truth exists far from screens, and the world looks different when you stand in the middle of it. Season 2 takes the investigation beyond the capital and into the heart of the regions most affected by insecurity, places rarely shown with balance or context in global news reports. As I traveled further from Ouagadougou, the landscape changed, and so did the stories people shared. Villagers, local leaders, and displaced families explained that while extremist violence is a real threat, the global portrayal often exaggerates or simplifies it. Many attacks occur in remote areas where the government's presence is thin, but daily life in safer towns continues with remarkable normalcy. People described how the insecurity didn't appear overnight, it built up over years due to poverty, weak borders, and the presence of multiple armed groups fighting for influence. Yet the media usually compresses all of these complex layers into a single headline, stripping the situation of its human depth. What I witnessed instead were communities trying their best to adapt, farmers returning to their fields with cautious hope, children attending school under protection, and families rebuilding step by step. The shift in government strategy was another major topic of discussion. Many citizens feel that reducing foreign military involvement and strengthening internal forces is a necessary path toward sovereignty, even if outsiders view it skeptically. They believe that solutions must come from within, not from international actors who often misunderstand local realities. Some people supported the government's assertive stance, while others feared it could isolate the country, but everyone agreed that the priority is safety and stability. I also visited areas hosting large numbers of internally displaced people. Despite limited resources, local residents shared food, shelter, and emotional support with families who had fled violence. These acts of solidarity, almost never highlighted in mainstream reporting, revealed a powerful truth. In the face of fear, Burkinabe communities come closer together rather than falling apart. Season 2 ultimately shows that the security crisis is not a simple story of violence, it is a story of survival, resilience, and people fighting to protect their land, identity, and future. Season 3 shifts the focus from conflict to culture, revealing a dimension of Burkina Faso that international news barely acknowledges: its vibrant artistic life, deep traditions, and the everyday beauty of its communities. As I explored Ouagadougou and other towns, I discovered that creativity here is not merely entertainment, it is a form of resistance, identity, and hope. Local artists told me that even during unstable times, they continue to make music, paint murals, perform theater, and shoot films, believing that culture keeps society alive when politics and violence try to break it. In small studios lit by single bulbs, bands rehearse late into the night, blending modern beats with traditional rhythms. In markets, artisans carve wooden masks, weave colorful fabrics, and explain that their craft connects them to ancestors who preserved stories long before social media existed. One of the most striking experiences was learning about FESPACO, Africa's largest film festival, proudly hosted in Burkina Faso for decades. Filmmakers described how the festival attracts directors, critics, and fans from across the continent, turning Ouagadougou into a cultural hub even when the outside world views the country through the lens of instability. They spoke about the responsibility of using cinema to tell African stories honestly, not filtered through foreign narratives or geopolitical interests. Daily life also revealed layers of meaning. Eating to with families, watching women sell flavorful sauces in the market, and listening to elders explain community customs showed how culture functions as social glue. The warmth and hospitality I experienced contradicted every stereotype of fear and danger. Even in challenging times, people laughed together, shared meals, and celebrated small joys. Children played football on dusty fields, stopping only to greet passing visitors. Tailors stitched clothes to Afrobeat music blasting from small speakers. Women balanced baskets on their heads with effortless grace. These moments, simple yet powerful, reminded me that Burkina Faso's identity is built on more than news headlines. It is built on cultural pride, creativity, and the belief that life must go on, no matter the challenges. By the time Season 3 unfolds fully, it becomes clear that the soul of Burkina Faso is not defined by conflict, but by the voices, colors, rhythms, and traditions that continue to shine through every heart.